Welcome back, guys, to what is essentially episode 1 of the reimagining of our podcast. Back in November of 2020, myself and my partner in crime, Gillian, during lockdown, decided to start a podcast. It was called the What's Happening podcast at the time. We managed to do 10 episodes, 10 sort of rough around the edges episodes. Then we began to do YouTube videos. And that kind of took over, and the podcast just sort of sat to one side. But I was still paying for it. So we're 2 years down, a year and a half down the line. Our YouTube channel has taken off. We've almost 2,000 subscribers, nearly 300,000 views. And our little side project that we started with was just sort of forgotten about. But we are reimagined as the Eejit podcast. So if we were to go to the Urban Dictionary and give you a description of what Eejit is known as, or what it means, basically. A Eejit is a person who is really a massive Eejit. Now, that doesn't exactly help, but if we tell you what an Eejit is, a more endearing Irish slang term for someone who acts foolishly, is a bit slow, or has no sense. Not as harsh as calling them an Eejit. So if you're a Eejit, is to be beyond redemption in terms of stupidity, cag-handedness, or moronic behaviour. And their description is, his dad was an Eejit, but this boy's a real Eejit. I wouldn't put him in charge of a yard brush. It was chosen because it's sort of Northern Irish term. We went through quite a few names, and as I said when we started, we were the What's Happening podcast. And for the relaunch, I decided, you know what, keep it. As we've called ourselves the Northern Irish couple on YouTube, we'll try and keep the podcast Northern Irish themed in a way. So we are now the Eejit podcast with Craig and Gillian. Now, obviously Gillian is not here on episode 1, but as and when we can get her on board, she will feature massively. I just thought I'd get episode 1 out there for our relaunch. Now, in trying to think of what the first episode would be, it's basically just a sort of, where have we been? Here's a catch up. What are we all about? What's to come kind of episode. So, as I said at the start there, we started this all during the very first lockdown due to COVID. We're both massive YouTube fans, podcast. Well, I'm a massive podcast fan. Gillian was the more into the YouTube side of things. So he says we try it, we give it a go. We managed to do 10 episodes without any real great direction. We didn't really know what we were doing. A lot of it was, we wanted our channel to be, there was a few channels that had just started at the time that they were basically tried things. They were try channels or tasting channels and stuff. So we did a lot of alcohol tasting videos at the very, very start. Jack Daniels and stuff. Some gins and stuff. That was basically the podcast. There was no real direction to it. Then, because of lockdown, we watched a lot of YouTube. We discovered reacting to scary videos. So the first 50 or 60 reaction videos that we did were basically all scary videos, which was loads of fun. We learned a lot about how to do YouTube, do videos, do thumbnails. It kind of took off. We discovered this sort of theme of scary videos on YouTube based around gin. Check out our channel or earlier videos. It's this sort of type of ghost that a lot of people in sort of, I'd say sort of India, parts of the world, their religion, believe in. We watched a lot. I mean, we're creeping up on 250 videos on our channel, and I'd say over 100 of those are scary videos. So we did that, and we got a massive response. So we looked in for other things to try and do. So we did other types of scary videos. We found some other ghost hunters. And that was basically the channel until about 5 or 6 months ago when I started doing music reactions. Now when I say music reactions, it's basically take a band I've never heard of or I know very little about, play some tracks, react to them if it's good or bad. I'll maybe do some more or forget about them and go into something else. And that was where the musical part of it took off, and we got so many views and so many subscribers. So the channel is basically evolved into just reacting to stuff. We started musically with Rush, the band Rush, the Canadian sort of prog rock band Rush. That took off massively. I think I ended up doing something like 25 Rush tracks. There's still loads to do. Then the recommendations started coming for other stuff, other bands. Did some more 70s type rock. No, I didn't do AC/DC. Black Sabbath is what I'm thinking of, sorry. And then we discovered some Scandinavian sort of metal groups, and that massively took off, and our views shot up. Started doing some, they're called drum cams, where it's just the camera strictly on the drummer of a band, and you see how fast they're going. So the channel's just evolved over the last 6 months. It like we have. I'm just looking at my iPad here. The channel's basically over a year old. The YouTube part of things. But the last 6 months is just rocketed. We're creeping up on 2,000 subscribers. There's people from all walks of life, all parts of the world that watch the videos. I mean, currently a quarter of the people watching our channel, which is a lot of people, because I mean we're getting probably 15,000 views a week, are from Japan, of all places, because of the current band that we're looking at. So it's amazing the sort of reach that we're getting for such a small little channel. So then that brought us sort of full circle back to the podcast. And I thought, you know what? I purchased quite a bit of technology for the recording of the video, the recording of the audio. We've got some really top quality, expensive microphones. We have a Rodecaster deck soundboard. So there's potential for a lot of really good sort of content podcast wise. It's kind of just been sitting here looking at me the last sort of year. It was a lockdown purchase. I know a lot of people probably can say they've bought some things in lockdown, but this, I want to get back into the podcast side of things so I can get my money's worth out of it and maybe grow that. We did 10 episodes. I think we got like 300 downloads, but we haven't looked at it in nearly a year and a half. So the podcast will hopefully be a weekly occurrence, the two of us talking about anything and everything. We'll probably start by going through what we're at on the YouTube side of things, and then life and stuff, and just in general. I talked about this with a colleague in work. I didn't really know what way I wanted it to be going. What direction? The original podcast was just the audio of the YouTube videos that we were doing at the time, which was just it was, hey, we're trying gin and tonic and we're trying Jack Daniels. So it didn't sort of make for good podcast content because it was the sound of us drinking or slowly getting drunk. But I'm hoping the content will come thick and fast. You know, that's going to help me and Gillian too. Well, it's going to help Gillian a lot more. I don't know where or how I've got the confidence to sit in front of a camera on my own, on a microphone, record YouTube stuff. It just sort of happened. And our son, we have a 6-year-old, Harrison, and he is YouTube mad. So that aspect of our channel will sort of develop as well. We're starting to do vlogs. We're starting to do family-based things. He wants to do anything he looks or finds. Can we do a video on this? Can we do a video on that? So it's hard when you work full-time to do what we're doing at the minute, and then he's looking to join the party as well. So what was the NI Couple Reacts channel has now become the NCR family. And I have a few things that still need edited to go up. Me and Harrison have done just basically vlog type stuff to get him involved. And then I don't know if you're a subscriber to our channel, we do live streams, gaming live streams, probably once a week. At the minute it's been once a week, it could be more, but he wants to do that as well. So we'll be broadcasting from our PS5. But it's hard work. Hard work when you're full time and trying to sort of get your little channel that was to take off. We're currently on, let's get my iPad here to see. We're currently on like 1,800 subscribers, which is for not taking it entirely seriously yet. I think we're doing okay. We're like, to hit 250,000 views is massive. I think that's quite an achievement. I think we're sitting on something like 275,000 at the minute. I mean, we're in sort of 28. They break it down into 28 days. I mean, we're talking like over 20,000 views every 28 days. It sort of averages out at. It's insane. If I look at the views here for the 365 days, 274,799. And I still don't know what we're doing with this channel. I mean, there's so many different things I want to try and do, and we're going to stick with the reaction side of things because that's massive and people really just seem to enjoy it. As I'm doing this solo, people will obviously go, well, these are called NI Couple Reacts. Where's the couple part of it? It's just hard to get the two of us to sit down at the one time. We both work different times. So they will return. We have some time off coming up now, so we'll be a lot of Gillian back on the channel. But I really want to get the podcast side of things taken off as well, because it can be a completely different animal. Now, as I'm recording this, I'm recording audio and I'm recording video for the YouTube channel. But I'd love to get it to the stage where there's like an interview aspect or there's collaborations with other channels, and we know and we've sort of created a few friendships with some YouTube channels, and hopefully we're going to get those guys, gals, and get them on and get them interviewed. I mean, I'm sitting in front of this piece of tech where I could basically take phone calls like a proper radio show. If you want to call into the channel. So I really want to try and get that up and running. The podcast will be a slow burner. It'll be once a week. It'll be once every fortnight. It'll have its own sort of audience. Well, I'm hoping. You know, it's open to sort of doing anything, basically. I have a couple of friends that want to be on it, that want to come and talk about stuff. And a guy who had his own podcast. Well, they did it their first season. Who I think we're going to get on pretty soon, talking about music and stuff. So I'm hoping you're enjoying the little lo-fi hip-hop in the background. It breaks up the silence of me not being able to figure out what to talk about, but so yeah. I've been paying for the 10 episodes that we've done for about a year and a half and not done anymore. So this is the relaunch. This is Buck Eejit episode 1. It's open to people suggesting content, or not content, but topics. Send us in your questions. If anybody that's watching or listening has arrived here because of the YouTube channel, then question us about the channel, question us about videos, what kind of content you'd like us to focus on or try. There's so much happening in our in our little city, Londonderry, in Northern Ireland. In the next few weeks, I'm going to try and vlog quite a bit of it. So yeah, we did a couple of live streams. Technology-wise, computer-wise, we're not really set up for live streams. We tried a live stream with a concert, and it just did not go well. The gaming side of things seems to work because that's going through my PS5, but down the line, the live stream aspect will hopefully come in. And yeah, I'll be adding different content to the channel. The feedback is what is making the channel grow. We're looking for recommendations for stuff to react to. We're looking for feedback on videos. So again, for the podcast, that's how it's going to grow. Hit us up with questions. Hit us up with recommended content. Feedback on the sounding. I'm using this soundboard correctly, I believe, for the first time since I got it. Music playing in the background. It sounds very professional. So yeah, just a short reintroduction, we'll call it, to our reimagined podcast, the Buck Eejit podcast. It stands out. I hope you all agree. If you go through I have it on my phone. I don't know if I'm going to actually, for the viewers, for the YouTube viewers, because it's available on all podcasting, wherever you get your podcasts. I'll try and hold this up to the camera now. Now you can see it on our screen because I have the logo up, but look. Buck Eejit. The 5th of December 2020 was their last episode. And it was quite a funny Christmas episode talking about old Christmas TV and toys and stuff. But that was 2 years ago. Almost. So, yeah. I'm hoping this takes off. This will be a slow burn. I mean, we're still concentrating on the YouTube. Hopefully this will take off. We'll just crank it out. Maybe we'll try one a week, one every 2 weeks, along with the video version. And guys, get in touch. Our email address is nicouplereacts@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, obviously the YouTube as well. Leave a comment on this video version of this podcast if you want. Leave any questions, any suggestions. And we will see you both on episode 2. And thanks, guys. Hope you like the setup, especially I've done different for the video. And different for the audio with a bit of the chilled out beats in the background. So thanks for listening, guys. And we'll see you on episode 2 very, very soon. Cheers, guys.